So, there's this boy. He's a human-mermaid hybrid who lives in a small village with his human father. And unfortunately, his mermaid mother passed away when he was young. Although being born from a human-mermaid relationship, the young boy has been told cautionary tales from his fellow villagers of mermaids eating humans. However, these stories don't seem to bother him. Later in the story, we see the boy enjoy his favorite pastime, which is playing the piano underwater. This is where he feels most at ease and where he feels the most connected to his late mother. But one fateful day, as the boy is playing a beautiful melody, he catches the attention of a wandering mermaid similar to his age. The two children soon become friends, and the boy ends up teaching the young mermaid how to play the piano. However, one day the mermaid asks the boy if he's afraid of her since her species is known to eat humans. The boy answers that he is scared of her, but her smile is so elegant that it warms his heart, and that warm feeling in his heart supersedes any fear he has towards her. Now, the story I just summarized is a one-shot named Siren Rhapsody by Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man. And the reason as to why I just summarized this one-shot is because in it contains the secret to what makes Chainsaw Man so special. Let me explain. As a result of Denji's late father's involvement in the Yakuza, he, from a young age, has inherited his father's debt and as a result, has to work for the Yakuza until he dies. Furthermore, due to his poor affairs, Denji lives in a shed covered in trash and is accompanied by his charming demon pet, Pochita, the only light in his life. However, due to Denji's isolation, he is friendless and everyone he interacts with either uses him or treats him like a nuisance. All Denji has to do to enjoy his life is to eat plain food with Pochita, and his dreams consist of being able to buy fruit jam and to have a girlfriend. But unfortunately, those dreams to Denji seem too distant to ever be achievable. Furthermore, Denji also becomes sick as he begins to cough out blood, and to make matters worse, his mother died from similar symptoms. So in sum, Denji's life is really the worst it can be. If you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are 5 levels. The lowest and most necessary is the level of physiology. This includes your basics like food, water, shelter, clothing, heat, etc. The next level above that is security. Then after that is social belonging. Then after that is esteem/feelings of accomplishment. Then at the top is self-fulfillment or realizing your full potential. If you look at Denji, his lifestyle is barely making the needs for the basic level of physiology, and his life ambitions lie only a couple levels above in terms of his want for social belonging by getting a girlfriend. Therefore, as a result of his life setup, what are deemed as basic necessities for normal people are luxuries for Denji. Following, Denji's boss arrives at his disheveled abode and requests him to hunt down a new devil. Denji then follows his boss into this eerie, abandoned factory, and oddly, he is unable to locate the devil. In the midst of this confusion, Denji's boss thanks him for his service, and from behind, a zombified Yakuza stabs Denji. The Yakuza boss then reveals to have no more use for Denji, and that instead, the Yakuza will work under the control of the zombie devil to achieve greater power. The zombie devil then unveils himself from the shadows and then proceeds to command his undead minions to kill Denji. Eventually, as a result of his immense bleeding from his previous knife wound, Denji is unable to escape the mass of soulless Yakuza and dies. After his death, Denji's soul is simply transported to the afterlife, and he encounters Pochita. Grateful for all the magical memories they shared, Pochita offers Denji a contract that offers his heart in exchange for Denji to show him his dreams. Denji then awakens with his body fully intact and notices Pochita's tail on his chest. With the zombie devil noticing the revived Denji, he sends another onslaught of zombies to finish the job. Denji then pulls Pochita's tail and turns into the Chainsaw Man. This transformation then leads to Denji to go on a senseless surge of violence as he dismembers the undead Yakuza, and he becomes elated for the reason that since the Yakuza are now dead, he is finally debt free. Later in the morning, a mysterious Makima and 2 men following her appear in front of the factory. They approach the inside of the corpse-filled building and witness Denji standing at the center of all this madness. Makima then sees Denji as his devil form, but even though this form is frightening, she is unafraid. Denji then asks the ethereal woman to be hugged, and without hesitation, she embraces him. Denji then collapses on Makima's lap and is instantly entranced by her mesmerizing gaze. In her presence, Denji feels this warmth and familiarity. Even though this is the first time Denji has met Makima, for some reason, he feels at ease with her, like everything will be okay. Makima then offers to take care of Denji as long as he helps her hunt down devils. Charmed by her proposal, Denji accepts Makima's offer, and for the first time in his life, things seem to be making a turn for the better. Now this is what I call a perfect first episode. With so little exhibited, there's still so much that has been told. With Denji's origin, we see the decrepit world he is forced to live in. But despite that, Denji still tries to make the best out of a situation with his dear friend, Pochita. Also, throughout the episode, we see how Denji is seen in the eyes of those around him. In a way, he is seen as subhuman. He's poor, smells bad, malnourished, and has a disheveled appearance. But despite his poor condition, he doesn't receive any help. Instead, his poor condition is used as a way to take advantage of him, and this notion is apparent with Denji's relationship with the Yakuza. See, the Yakuza represents the innermost corruption of human nature. They are indecent, conniving, selfish, and overall shameless. Things like honor, gratitude, or loyalty do not exist in their vocabulary, and this is evident in Denji's betrayal. However, the most important aspect of this betrayal is what it says about Denji's character. From the first episode, I can describe Denji's character in 2 words: kind and naive. For instance, when Denji encounters Pochita for the first time, he is okay with the idea of dying. But when Denji notices Pochita is injured, he offers the little chainsaw devil his blood in order for him to heal. Now this act of Denji's expounds on his kindness, but it also expounds on his desperation. As soon as he meets Pochita, he doesn't fight, nor does he attempt to run away. He accepts his fate as he feels that dying would be a better option than to live in his current conditions. And unfortunately, this desperation of Denji's is what leads him to be so naive. Now from the outside looking in, trying to save a devil is pretty stupid and dangerous. However, this prejudice does not cross Denji's mind, since he has no friends, nor family, and since he has nothing to lose, he is able to take on these naive risks. Furthermore, although Pochita reciprocates Denji's kindness positively, the Yakuza take Denji's kindness/naivete as a weakness. This is why Denji's betrayal is so important, because it is an example of the world he lives in. It is an example of instances that show what a monster truly is, and what defines a monster doesn't rely on whether someone is born a human or manifested as a devil, but is predicated on the individual's heart. Despite Denji being a loyal hard worker, the Yakuza still saw him as a simple lapdog, a means to an end. They didn't see him as a human with emotions and agency. Instead, the Yakuza discarded Denji for their selfish goals. But the only individual to truly care for Denji was no other than Pochita. This is why, when Denji goes on his rampage, it is so satisfying to watch. In a way, his rampage is a self-expression of his hate for the world he lives in and for the people that made his life so miserable. And with the sudden appearance of Makima, Denji is at a standstill. For the first time in his life, he is treated as a person, a feeling that he had been in need of desperately for so long. Therefore, with Denji's past it stands to reason as to why this moment shared with Makima would change his life forever. Now, upon arriving at the Public Safety Devil Hunter Department, Denji joins a special division unit called Division 4. Now, through their group is where Denji gets introduced to his crackpot colleagues, Empower the Blood Devil Fiend, Aki, the conventional and dutiful leader, Himono, the promiscuous and unabashed senior, Kobeni, the timid, anxious, and often distracted newcomer, and Hirokazu, the headstrong and passionate rookie. Now, all these characters together shouldn't work. Most of their personalities are not congruent to each other, but it's only when they're put through trials is when we see them cooperate conveniently to become a formidable unit. Let's take Power for example. She's an impulsive liar, conniving, and her ego is as fragile as glass. She possesses no nuance to social norms, and oftentimes, her abrasive nature causes her teammates great agitation, or worse, disheartenment. Regardless of these irredeemable qualities, Power finds herself harboring compassionate emotions for her cat Meowie, even though she believes those emotions to be irrational. Following, we have Aki Hawakawa, who is a hardened and relentless individual, but wasn't always like this. See, Aki had quite a normal childhood. He had 2 loving parents, a nice home, and a younger brother. Unfortunately though, on one dreadful day, the Gun Devil brought upon a catastrophe so cataclysmic that it resulted in a death toll of 1.2 million in 5 minutes. Therefore, like many who suffered through this tragedy, Aki takes it upon himself to avenge his family by killing the Gun Devil no matter the cost. And I mean no matter the cost. On his quest of vengeance, Aki has taken many sacrifices, and one of those sacrifices being his humanity. Aki harbors no smile, no laughs, and is always straight-faced. He has no care in the world other than the mission, and is willing to go to precarious lengths to achieve his goal, even at the detriment of his life. As a result of his impassive nature, his worldview is black and white, and he often does not delegate his conventionalities. This notion is evident when Aki meets Denji and automatically categorizes him as a good-for-nothing and untrustworthy because of his devil powers. This is also true with Aki's other relationships, such as his with the Fox Devil, who he contracts to help him on missions, but still regards the Fox Devil as a devil and nothing more. This relationship and others alike make Aki a complicated character, for on one hand he hates devils, but on the other hand he needs devils such as the Fox Devil, Chris Devil, Power, and Denji to help him on his ambitions. Hence, Aki is forced to compromise on his morals in order to achieve his goal. So what happens when we put all these screwballs into one unit? Well, insanity. In episode 6 of Chainsaw Man, Division 4 is put on a mission to hunt down the Infinite Devil, who's related to the Gun Devil. They then investigate the premises where the devil is said to be, and to their detriment, end up being trapped in a time loop. And as a result of being faced with the possibility of being trapped for eternity, the rookies Kobeni and Hirokazu go into a frenzy of panic. Using this turmoil to their advantage, the Infinite Devil offers to release the team in exchange for Denji's heart. This offer then leads the rookies to turn on Denji, as they insist on accepting the devil's offer. In this scenario, we see how a team that is supposed to work together can turn on each other once the circumstances become dire. This again, like the previous Yakuza, gives us a glimpse of the innermost corruption of human nature. Individually, Kobeni and Hirokazu are good, honest people. However, when inconveniences become too much to bear, that is when we see the true ugly side of humans. And although the situation is seemingly inescapable, the leader Aki assesses the situation stoically and is adamant about keeping Denji alive. However, this direction does not relent for long, as the devil grows stronger from feeding from the fears of Kobeni and Hirokazu. This puts the units back against the wall, and as a result, Kobeni and Hirokazu coordinate an attack on Denji, but are stopped when surprisingly, Aki takes the hit intended for Denji. Now this act by Aki is unexpected for the reason that it contradicts his previous biases towards Denji. In their initial meeting, Aki gave the impression that he didn't care if Denji lived or died, and was adamant that they would never build a relationship. So why does Aki go to extreme lengths to protect someone he hates? Well, in his words, he explains that he saved Denji because he is in need of him if he hopes to defeat the Gun Devil. And although this answer is satisfactory, it doesn't give the full answer. When we fast forward to episode 12 of Chainsaw Man, we see Denji has captured the Katana Man. Now the Katana Man is the one responsible for so much carnage, but most importantly, is the one who killed Aki's dear partner, Himeno. When Aki arrives on the scene, Denji inappropriately suggests to Aki that they compete in a competition to kick Katana's man's balls as punishment for killing Himeno. Aki initially declines as he tries to take the high road and be logical as he usually does. However, once he stares at Himeno's cigarette that's labeled Easy Revenge, he changes his mind and decides to take up Denji on his offer. With a smile on both their faces, we see them continuously punish Katana Man's groin, and for the first time, we finally see Aki elated. And these two individuals who vehemently hated each other begin to bond. Now, why am I summarizing random parts of season 1? Well, remember the story I opened with about the boy and the mermaid? Well, that one shot and the aforementioned scenes all contain the same components that make Fujimoto's work so magical. See, in the story of Saiyan Rhapsody, Fujimoto presents characters who, logically speaking, shouldn't be together, as their biology doesn't necessitate them to be together. However, it's only through the illogical and human emotions that we see the impossible become possible. Mermaids are known to eat humans, but the more the young couple fall in love, the more the fear of being eaten dissipates. And with their love superseding their fear, they're able to overcome their obstacles, and thus their relationship flourishes. This type of storytelling Fujimoto presents is what I call relatability and absurdity. This story of a man-eating mermaid falling in love with a human is absurd, but it's in this extremity that Fujimoto tells a story that is very human and relatable. We've all had something, or more importantly, someone that we loved. And no matter how illogical it is to love that thing or person, we continue to love them anyways. This notion of relatability and absurdity also falls through in Chainsaw Man. The zombie Yakuza portraying Denji, although absurd, we relate to it because at some point in our lives, we have felt deplorable. Whether it be a job we put our all in and got fired in an instant, or a relationship we put our all in only for the other person to disappoint us. This is why Makima is so important to Denji. It's because no matter what hell we're going through, deep down, we all want that sense of belonging and reassurance that everything will be okay. This affinity and relief is what Denji desires. Therefore, Makima is to Denji what an oasis is to a famished traveler. Following is Aki's rigidness. When Aki first meets his partner Himono, she offers him a cigarette, but Aki denies Himono's offer. After a while, Himono persists in offering Aki a cigarette, but Aki keeps rejecting her. That is until Aki finally relents and takes her up on her offer, which then leads to him becoming a frequent smoker. This scenario showcases how inflexible Aki is towards an idea, but the more exposed he is to nuances, the more malleable his beliefs become. This is also the case when Aki is requested by Makima to house Denji in power. At first, Aki refuses this proposal and is against forming any relationship with any devils or anything related. But as the season progresses and the characters evolve, the incongruent Division 4 becomes a family. Therefore, these aforementioned instances show that Fujimoto presents very absurd ideas. Whether it be a boy falling in love with a mermaid, a chainsaw man killing his former abusive employer, or a devil, fiend, and human becoming a family. As absurd as these scenarios may be, we can all see ourselves in them, and this relatability and absurdity is what makes Fujimoto's stories so magical.